A very warm welcome to Africa. Good morning. This is the Tuesday edition. We are bringing you the pertinent stories across Africa. My name is Aina Raizakoyo alongside Diana Master. Today it's month end and we are so excited.
I feel like you're even more excited than anyone out there.
I'm excited for everyone else.
I guess that means you're taking me out for lunch.
We'll talk about that during commercial break.
Well, today is Tuesday, the 31st of May, and today is No Tobacco Day. World No Tobacco Day is observed around the world every year on the 31st of May. This yearly celebration informs the public on the dangers of using tobacco, the business practices of tobacco companies, as well as what the World Health Organization is doing to fight against the use of tobacco, and what people around the world can do to claim their right to health and healthy living to protect future generations. Here's a video on No Tobacco Day.
Let's get into our top stories this morning. No African university listed for new UK visa scheme. A new UK visa scheme that is designed to attract the brightest and best graduates from around the world does not include any African university on its list of institutions where those degree holders can come from. This has led to some complaints that African talent is being excluded, though Africans who have attended the listed universities will be able to apply. The UK scheme will be available to alumni of the top non-UK university who graduated in the past 5 years. Graduates will be eligible regardless of where they were born and will not need a job offer in order to apply. But the way the list of the top global university has been drawn up has meant that not a single African tertiary institution is listed. To qualify, a person must have attended a university that appeared in the top 50 of at least 2 of the Times Higher Education World University rankings.
Now, in our next story, around 100 killed in clashes between Chad artisanal gold miners last week, says government. Around 100 people were killed in clashes between artisanal gold miners in North Chad on May 23rd and May 24th, Defense Minister Dawood Yahya Brahim said on Monday. The violence broke out during the night at an informal gold mining site in the mountainous Kuri Bugudi district near the border with Libya. Chad's government sent a fact-finding mission to the site on May 25th to assess the unrest and restore calm, saying at the time that human lives were lost and several people injured without giving numbers. The death toll we established after our mission on the ground reaches around 100 dead, Brahim told Reuters. All informal mining operations have been suspended and we have proceeded to evacuate people from the site, he added.
2 Hawks officers arrested for allegedly supplying ammunition to a traditional healer. 2 Hawks officers are in police custody after allegedly providing ammunition to a traditional healer. The 2 officers, a lieutenant colonel and a captain, were involved with supply chain management at the Hawks National Headquarters. They were arrested on Friday by the Hawks National Priority Violent Crimes and Tactical Operation Management Section. According to police spokesperson Tandi Mbambo, a sting operation was set up after information was received about the lieutenant colonel who intended to supply SEPS ammunition to a traditional healer. Further investigations led to the arrest of a female lieutenant colonel who was charged with theft and dealing in ammunition, while the female captain was arrested and charged with defeating the ends of justice justice after it was discovered that she tried to conceal evidence in this matter, Mbambo said.
Now in Sudan, trial begins for Sudanese protesters accused of killing police officer. The trial of 4 Sudanese protesters accused of killing a police officer began in Khartoum on Sunday amid anti-military demonstrations and a heavy police presence. The 4 accused of the fatal stabbing of a police brigadier general in January were seen by a Reuters witness entering the courtroom in Khartoum, raising their fists and making victory signs. The defendants, who have become emblems of the anti-military protest movement, deny the charges. Security forces have frequently detained opposition politicians and figures connected to the protest movement since a coup ended a military-civilian power-sharing arrangement in October. Lawyers say dozens remain in detention. On Sunday, a security body attached to Sudan's ruling council recommended lifting an emergency law imposed after the coup and releasing those arrested under it. The ruling council said the move was meant to create conditions for dialogue. Efforts to break the deadlock between the military and its opponents have so far made little progress. Relatives and lawyers for the men whose trial started on Sunday have accused authorities of torturing at least one of them, known by his nickname Tupac. Police couldn't be reached for comment while military leaders denied the accusations. Abdelazim Hassan, part of the legal team representing the men, said the judge hearing the case ordered that the men undergo a medical examination.
Tanzanian secondary student designed solar-powered car. High school students at Arusha Science Secondary School, located in Laroy Ward in Arusha region, have designed a solar-powered car, being the first of its kind in the country. The solar-powered vehicle is capable of traveling 160 kilometers with light load before being recharged, and it is an innovative work of students. The solar-powered vehicle is capable of traveling 160 kilometers with a light load before it is recharged. Walter Tario, who's 19 years old, Glenn Amini, who's 17, are amongst the students who designed the car, a project that started in 2021, spending 3.5 million shillings to complete. Speaking to reporters on Sunday, Walter said the car doesn't need fuel, making it environmentally friendly, but it also requires low cost in maintenance. Additionally, the students designed a solar-powered refrigerator as part of their creative work. We'll be right back after the break with more news. Stay with Africa Good Morning.
You're watching Africa Good Morning. Getting into the second half of our top stories, we start off in Nigeria, where kidnappers seize head of Nigeria's Methodist Church. The head of the Methodist Church in Nigeria, Samuel Kanu, was kidnapped on Sunday in Abia State, southeast Nigeria, alongside other 2 clerics. Police in the state say a manhunt has been mounted to rescue the priests. In Nigeria, the Methodist Church is one of the established evangelical churches. Separatist groups have been active in the southeast region, where they have been agitating for a breakaway state from Nigeria. Recently, a local MP was kidnapped by unknown gunmen. His headless body was found days later. A military couple was also beheaded as they traveled to the region to inform their relatives about their plans to wed. Separately, on Sunday morning, a young woman and her brother were abducted when gunmen invaded their residence in Lafia, Nasarawa State, near the capital, Abuja. Their father was shot dead during the attack. There's been a resurgence of attacks by armed gangs, including jihadist militant groups, as Nigeria prepares for a general election next year.
Chad bans protest over terrorism fears, says a report. The junta in Chad has warned of an imminent militant attack in the capital N'Djamena amid tension due to opposition protest. There is a very high terrorist alert in the city of N'Djamena, which has forced us to ban all public demonstration, RFI website quoted Communication Minister Abdrahman Kaolomola saying. It added that the alert followed reports that 3 terrorists, probably from Boko Haram, managed to infiltrate N'Djamena over the weekend. It cited official sources who said that the suspected militants were still at large. Rumors of an imminent attack were sparked by heavy deployment of security forces on major roads in N'Djamena. At least 38 people were killed and dozens more injured in a Boko Haram attack in N'Djamena 2015.
Now in our next story, court jails Egyptian former presidential candidate for 15 years. An Egyptian court sentenced former presidential candidate Abdelmonem Abou-Fatou and several prominent figures from the banned Muslim Brotherhood to lengthy jail terms on Sunday on accusations including plotting to overthrow the state. Abou-Fatou, who is in his early 70s and according to his family suffers from several medical conditions, was sentenced to 15 years in prison, subject to appeal, the court ruling said. Rights groups say thousands of politicians, activists and journalists are detained in Egypt after unfair trials or without legal basis. Abou-Fatou quit the Muslim Brotherhood in 2011 after disagreements over the role of religion in politics and founded the more centrist Strong Egypt Party, launching an independent bid for the presidency in 2012. The Interior Minister later accused him of meeting Brotherhood leaders to stir unrest, which he denied. He was arrested in February 2018 after giving interviews that were sharply critical of President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi a month before Sisi was re-elected. Others sentenced on Sunday include Mohamed Al-Qassas, Abou-Fatou's deputy, who received a 10-year sentence, Mahmoud Izzat, the former acting Brotherhood leader detained in Cairo in 2020, who received 15 years, and Ibrahim Munir, a Brotherhood leader living in exile, was handed a life sentence.
Sleepless nights in South Africa's village of death. The brutal series of killing has earned Zigolweni, a village of 3,000 people in a remote corner of South Africa, a chilling moniker. The village of death, which has suffered a murder almost every month, occurring with clockwork regularity for a year. All 11 victims have been elderly people, most of whom were women and most of whom lived alone. Almost all inhabitants live on social assistance and many here are over 80 years old. South Africa is one of the world's most violent countries outside a war zone, with a murder committed every 20 minutes on average. But even hardened police have been taken aback by the gruesome of these killing spree. All victims were brutally stabbed. Some also had their throat slit. A series of murders for elderly people with a psychological motive not seen before in South Africa, said an investigator. 6 men have been arrested over the killings and their trial is set to begin in June. Local police believe the murders are simply burglaries that have gone wrong. But a local official, Koki, who's 64 years old, is among those who doubt their thieves are to blame. After the killings, when people were searching the house, they found the money in the house, he said, adding that valuables were also untouched.
Now, in a rather disturbing case, Nigeria CDC has confirmed 21 monkeypox cases this year. Nigeria has confirmed 21 cases of monkeypox since the start of the year, with 1 death reported, the Nigeria Center for Disease Control said late on Sunday. Monkeypox, a usually mild viral infection, is endemic in the African countries of Cameroon, Central African Republic, Democratic Republic of Congo, and Nigeria. But it has caused global alarm after more than 200 suspected and confirmed cases of the virus were detected in at least 19 countries since early May, mostly in Europe. No deaths have been reported so far. The NCDC said out of 61 suspected cases of monkeypox reported since January 2020, 21 had been confirmed, with one death, that of a 40-year-old man. The cases were reported in 9 states and the federal capital, Abuja. Among the 21 cases reported in 2022 so far, there has been no evidence of any new or unusual transmission of the virus, nor changes in its clinical manifestation documented, including symptoms, profile, and virulence, NCDC said. 6 of the cases were detected this month, it said.
All right, after the break, we will be talking about urban farming as Diana interviews Josiah Shipangana. We'll be right back.
Careers Bistro focuses on the movers and shakers in the corporate world. It takes the content of the Careers Hub that is inserted every Friday in 3 NMH dailies, Republican, Namibian Sun, and Algemeine Zeitung, to viewers on social media. This show is broadcasted on NTV, oneup2.com, and cross-shared on the following Facebook platforms: Careers Hub, The Republican, Algemeine Zeitung, Namibian Sun, and Namibia Media Holdings. Careers Bistro focuses on car interviews, career motivational videos, the ups and downs of different careers, keeping in touch with business, and more. For career-related content or advertising queries, please contact zone@synergy.com.na.
You're watching Africa Good Morning. Now in front of me, you may see something that you've never seen in studio before. We have compost and worms. And with me in studio today is Mr. Josiah Shipangana, who is going to be speaking to us about urban farming and talking about sustainability and navigating some of the challenges in the world of farming, such as the scarcity of water. Good morning, Mr. Josiah. Thank you for joining us.
How are you doing?
I'm great, thank you.
Thanks.
All right, so we start off. You are one of the few urban farmers doing a great job in the city. How are you sustaining this innovative concept?
Thank you very much for the question. The production started quite way back, 2015, and we have tried to, by all means, to sustain it by means of bringing people on board. Those who were not aware, left, center, right, and whatever you come across to. But then there were a lot of challenges. You know, people were not convinced. There were challenges of land, water, and also a bit of understanding. So, but we have reached the milestone by all means to say, even though there are constraints, there are obstacles in the way, there's no way we can give up. We have managed to set up quite back the 19 backyard gardening that was in informal settlement. Okay. So the aim was to ensure that even people that were benefiting at a time from the food bank, they might not have some relish. And then there was a question also of the balanced diet or nutrition. Yes. So then I said, okay, fine. Let me meet and close this gap to say, this is a way forward, this is a way to go. Even if they cannot have relish, so we can then produce spinach. Yes. And what I produced at the time and what I suggested was backyard gardening through organic. Yes. Purely organic. We do not make use of any inorganic, which are artificial fertilizer, for instance. Our system, or my system, is quite environment friendly. we don't apply any chemical. We only apply pure organic. As you can see, the compost that we are applying to the soil.
Yes, yes.
And at a time when we start producing it, then I developed a question also to say, okay, fine, what is the way forward? Are we going to produce only compost or Namibian made compost, organic? But then you say, okay, fine. There was another need to say we need to have the compost tested by the lab.
Okay, we'll get into the testing of the compost. Yes. But I just wanted to find out, you did mention spinach. What other produce are you making?
Because there was a scarcity of land. Land was one of the challenges. But through backyard gardening, we are actually saying horticulture. And the word horticulture itself is a Latin American word that we have just, adapted.
Yes.
Hort itself means gardening, and the culture is obviously the cultural way how they've been. And we adopted it to say it's a way to produce food, either for family consumption and a little bit of income. Okay? And by so doing, we then say, okay, fine. What are our objectives? We then want to say to reduce the yoke of poverty, malnutrition and hunger, because we got what's so-called food insecurity in the country. And then the creation of job opportunity, and then the nutrients, as we mentioned earlier. And the spinach is one of the best vegetables you can find among others that contain a lot of nutrients like B12, vitamin A, D, C, and so on, if I can mention a few. So, and then you don't need to buy, actually, you need to produce, and then you can see it's fresh, right away from the garden. The family you can feed a family of even more than 20 on a backyard garden. And then you can also maybe think of a bartering system, which means maybe your neighbor got something that you want.
And then you exchange. Of course.
So it was a very easy system that I brought in a system, in place, and I see it was going to work. And yes, it did work, although there were challenges.
Of course, there's always challenges. Now, water is a scarce commodity, even in the city. How do you juggle between keeping your garden watered as well as using water sparingly?
Yeah, you have mentioned one of the main constraints, because we got land and water, but we, at a time when we started, like I said, I started quite back in 2015, and most of the people only came to realize that there was a garden when water was availed to informal settlement when COVID-19 erupted at a time. Because then the municipality and the government have availed the running water to the public to ensure that people, even those who are not financially well off, or those who low income, for instance, have got access to water. So it's the same water which we have used before, because it's a prepaid. So basically, when we started, we used to pay water through prepaid, and that's the water we share between house use and the gardening.
Of course.
And it was not quite expensive. It's running about plus minus 300 to 400 a month.
And within that 300 to 400, you're still able to water your garden.
Water your garden. And then when COVID-19 erupted, then the water was availed, so we could easily fetch water from the public water points and use it for gardening. So which is the same now, but I mean, people got different mentality, but these are small things within the community.
Of course, of course. Now, getting shelf space is one of the biggest challenges for farmers. Is it the same for you? And where do you sell your produce?
For now, my produce have declined a little bit for some other reason known by me, but I will share the minor of it. My production have dropped because I had a production area, which I was given area last year in Ochomise Community Lifestyle
Okay.
So then that place have gone back to the owner for some other use.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. So that's how my production have declined. And then to say how hard or how easy I found it to enter to local shop of
Yes.
I have found it a little bit difficult because people then had doubts that, maybe the spinach, which was the main production, and then I had also the parsley, coriander, and basil. They were not, they were maybe watered with the water from their dams, and some chilies that I had also, jalapeno. People believe that I was using water directly from the Korea Hub dam. And you see, that water have to go through recycle, whatever,
Yes,
for it to be reused.
Yes.
So we have been using water right away from the tap, which is free from contaminated.
Yes, of
So
course.
people were having doubt. So, but then when the system was about to pick up, it's also the time the production have dropped.
Oh,
So that's
I
the
see,
challenge.
I
Yeah.
see.
But that does not mean it's not going to pick up. And so I'm quite positive that sooner or later
It will pick up. Of course.
But then, like I said, there was another major produce, which is compost.
Yes.
So which we're going to go there, like you
Yes,
said.
yes. Actually, that is going to be my next question. You recently started producing your own compost, and you actually mentioned that it's all organic,
Yes.
non-genetically modified organisms.
Yes.
So, and we also understand that lab tests were recently conducted on the compost, and the results came back positive. Can you please tell us about this, about your compost as well as the tests?
Yeah. Like I said earlier, the compost that I'm producing, I call it all-in-one NAM, organic compost, because the word NAM came because I'm a fully Namibian, and it's being produced by Namibian, in Namibia.
Using Namibian.
Yeah, for Namibian people,
Yes.
not only for me.
Yes.
So, at a time when I started producing it, I developed, okay, fine, I need to have this product tested, so that people got then a scientific proof and to believe, as we are living in the world of technology,
Yes.
to believe that no, we had
It's
a
tested.
diamonds among us, and that's going to work. But the aim is that we have a system where most of the, either from the large-scale farmer or small-scale farmer, of relying on imports,
Of course.
which is
of course, I
fertilizer,
see.
and most of these fertilizer are inorganic.
Yes.
And like I said, this compost is quite environmental friendly. It accommodates microorganism, which is underground. Unlikely if we have to compare. I'm not against the 100%, but I can tell you I'm against inorganic.
Yes.
Because then it will kill the microorganisms that are responsible to make channels for air circulation between the roots, because, plants need air.
Air, yes.
You understand?
Yes.
But by adding this chemical or inorganic fertilizer, let me say, mention one to say ammonium sulfate, which is an inorganic fertilizer,
Then it kills.
then it might end up killing some microorganism like the worms we are talking about.
Yes.
And as a result, that will affect the productivity, the yield, and then we will be having environment or the community which is
Suffering,
suffering,
basically, yes.
because it's not quite environmental friendly anymore. We try to change nature.
Yes.
And our system is a no wastage system, because you will not see people throwing away the previous residues or stuff that have been for previous plowing. Maybe for instance, be thrown away. No way. That you need to take to your compost. The chicken manure, those who are doing maybe poultry, you will not see them thrown away.
They
We
will
take them to
reuse
the
it,
compost.
yes.
So it's a system that is around us. It's a system that need to be exposed
Yes.
to our people, so that it can then accommodate them, reduce their expenses.
Yes, of course, yes.
And you know, recently we have seen the rising price in terms of the cooking oil, because we are importing it from somewhere, and there were crises. And then the same, if you ever read newspapers or TVs or whatever, you could see that there were going to be also a scarcity of the fertilizer. But this is more or less fertilizer, because for me, I even found it more useful than the fertilizer, because we call it all in one. Because why? Reason number one, this compost, it carries the major three.
Yes.
Which is nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium.
Okay.
And then this compost contain calcium, contain the soil pH at the highest level, which I have seen after it has been tested, is that it carries about 8.4 of the soil pH. Now, there's a quite interesting relationship.
Sorry to cut you off. Can we just briefly wrap it up? So so as you were explaining, if you could just quickly wrap it up.
Yeah, that the higher the soil pH, the higher the content of nutrient or elements that are needed as nutrition for plants.
Which means that when the plants grow, they grow healthier.
They grow healthy.
Of course.
Because of that.
Of course. Thank you so much, Mr. Josiah, for shedding light on urban farming. Now, if you would like to give any potential urban farmers some advice, what would you give them, very briefly?
Yeah, my advice is just to say, I'm not saying I got what it takes 100%, but I'm saying, neither contradicting myself, I'm saying this is the system that we have in place for us as Namibian, for us as small farm, for us as large scale farm. So you can come through for training. I do also give training.
Of course.
And then you are exposed to the system that will be working for you.
Yes.
And you not concentrate on say no, or having headache to say no, how am I going to?
Yes,
Yeah.
all right. Thank you so much, Mr. Josiah Shipingana, for talking to us about urban farming. Now we're going to take a quick look at the weather.
Well, great interview right there, Diana, with Erastus, Yesaya Shipingana. Now we move over. Rural and Development Minister Erastus Uthoni on Friday officially launched a groundbreaking ceremony of housing development by BH Property CC in collaboration with the Oshakati Town Council. The houses will be built in 2 phases for a period of 3 years. Phase 1 will build 509 houses and it will employ close to 600 people. This project will have 20 subcontractors and it is expected to cost the BH Properties 305 million Namibian dollars. Uthoni applauded BH Properties for meeting government halfway in eliminating the housing needs for the middle to low income earners. Let's have a look.
What we want to say, but you have said it out. Even that road, no one could dream that there would be a tar road. But you have mentioned, I don't want to dilute what you have said. Congratulations. I'm going to speak more about you and your company. Thank you very much, and your team. Let's reorganize ourselves as communities. This country, it's not difficult for us to develop. That's what I believe strongly. If we put our efforts and hands together, frankly speaking, we can develop this country. Isn't it? Was Mbita idira ke humo komesho. Okupwa pikini mambia hii ndeto nwesa mwiko shiwana nini mambia kai merandra sana. Andi tine o space anjiri mo madira diroge tu oyo natu dise ni no madira dironga very positive very now. That is what I'm saying. So Namibia is our country, we can develop it. Director of ceremony.
I think
Oh, I think it's now to Katarina. It's special for all of us, members of the business community, members of the community, the staff of Oshakati Town. We are now here to celebrate together as a team, as Namibian people. And as I've already indicated that there's nothing difficult for us to develop this country. We now want to show that yes, Namibia can be developed by the Namibian. But yes, but the most important thing, I forgot to say it in my speech. Don't chase investors away. Do suffer. So now, we are now witnessing another milestone. For the house development here at Ompumbu, 509 houses that are going to be constructed here. Let's move forward. Yes. Now I should be handing over this area for the house construction at Ompumbu. You can see that is what they are going to develop. This one extension 1 and extension.
The idea behind the designs is very straightforward. We're going to take a type 1. So you can start off the exact same house as a 1-bedroom house. And as the family increase and the means increase, they have already approved plans to add another bedroom or to add a 3rd bedroom down here. So as the family grows, the house can grow with them. The plots are in between 380 squares to 480 squares, which is substantial. And I mean, and we would like to thank the council for giving it us to a price to make it available for all people. For us, we're going to start with our first phase at the top here, at the north over here. Second phase for extension 2 is on the right on the roadside, and right next to the Shona is phase 3. 47 houses on phase 1, 130 houses on phase 2, just over 200 on phase 3, and then the entire extension 1, which is not indicated on the marks on the boards yet, will be phase 4 for the project. Our timeline, like Mr. Ohanga has indicated, is 3 years. 509 houses, just over 1,000 days, means that every second day we need to hand somebody a set of keys. Yes. Okay. As part of our employment.
All right, let's get into our economic news for this morning. PwC quits as auditor of Lucky Star owner Oceana amid strained relationship. PwC has resigned as external auditor of Oceana because of the strained relationship with the company and a lack of transparent communication with the board amid a turbulent period at the troubled fisheries and logistic group. At the last annual general meeting, stakeholders holding 38% of Oceana's shares voted against retaining PwC as the group's auditor. Oceana was meant to consult with the shareholders on the reappointment of PwC on Monday, but it instead announced on the day that PwC has resigned. Oceana said PwC said this was due to their assessment of significant doubt as to whether there were objective and transparent communication between the board and PwC, given the strained relationship which they constituted a significant impairment of their independence.
Now, in our international news story, EU struggles to agree on Russia oil sanctions. The EU's beleaguered oil sanctions ban wasn't even officially up for discussion at this week's Summit of Leaders, but as the elephant in the room, it's now marched its way onto the agenda. A senior official said the European Council would now try to reach a political agreement on the issue. The hope will be that such an agreement can hand ambassadors who deal with the nitty-gritty detail enough momentum to get over the remaining technical hurdles. All eyes will now be on Hungary. Budapest has been vocally resisting the embargo for weeks, and its Prime Minister Viktor Orban made it plain he doesn't think the issue should be discussed at today's summit. This package, which does contain other measures, has been watered down, but officials are keen to point out that targeting seaborne supplies first still accounts for around 2/3 of Russian oil imports. European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen says the EU is not there yet with regards to an agreement on a 6th package of sanctions, including a potential ban on Russian oil imports. Hungary, which relies heavily on Russian oil, is the main opponent of a ban in imports.
Namibian miners on tenterhooks for uranium price recovery. Namibia's finance minister said uranium miners are waiting for prices to recover before reviving projects in Africa's biggest producer of the ore, which is needed for nuclear power in a world shifting away from fossil fuels. The semi-arid Southwest African nation is investing in water facilities and is planning a second desalination plant to supply mines in the dry Erongo region in anticipation of high uranium prices, attracting investors, according to Finance Minister Ipumbu Shimi. There are a number of uranium projects in the pipeline just waiting for the price to recover. Shimi said in an interview on Thursday, if the price reaches 65 to 70 pounds, then it will trigger more investment in uranium.
Now in Mozambique, Fitch Solutions forecasts interest rates rise to 15.75% this year and 16.75% in 2023. Consultant Fitch Solutions expects the Central Bank of Mozambique to raise interest rates to 15.75% this year and 16.75% in 2023 to fight rising inflation in a context of economic acceleration. According to the note sent to clients to which Lusa has had access, this consultancy owned by the owners of credit rating agency Fitch Ratings, Mozambique is expected to register annual economic growth of 5.3%, above the average of 4% 4% recorded in the pre-pandemic years. According to analysts, Mozambique's strong economic growth will give the central bank scope to raise interest rates this year. Gross domestic product is expected to grow by 5.3% this year, supported by investments in production in the gas sector and above the average of 4% recorded in the 5 years prior to the pandemic.
All right, let's have a look at our economic indicators.
Thank you for staying with Africa. Good morning. Now let's talk sports with Ari Khokhad.
Good day everyone, time for international sports news, and starting off with cycling news. Giro d'Italia that came to an end, and it was an Australian, the 26-year-old Jay Hindley, that won the Giro d'Italia. First time ever that the Australian won the Giro d'Italia, and Hindley did well on the second last stage, over 176 kilometers. It was Hindley that didn't win that stage. He came in 7th, but what he did do, he went past the current leader then, and that was Richard Carapaz, and he beat him by more than a minute and 25 seconds to be exact. Before that, he was just 3 seconds behind Carapaz. So that just left the last stage to be a short 17.4 kilometer time trial, and Carapaz couldn't make up that time difference to Jay Hindley. So Jay Hindley of Australia winning the Giro d'Italia 2022. On the women's cycling, it is defending champion Lorena Vibes. She won the Ride London cycling event, and that was over 4 days, and it is also an event that she won in 2019. So there wasn't events in 2020 and 2021 because of COVID-19, but it was Lorena Vibes of the Netherlands. She's just 23 years old. She won again the Ride London cycle tour. On to some tennis news, and it's a big week, second week of the Roland Garros on clay in Paris. Things heating up, and it is going to be very good matches that's going to be played in this week, and especially in the men's side, all of the top seeds are still in the tournaments. On the women's side, many of the top 10 seeds fell out in the first week, and 2 Americans on the women's side that is making good progress in the tournament, and that is Coco Gauff, the 18th seed, and Sloane Stephens, both going through convincingly. Sloane Stephens, she beat Jill Teichmann of Switzerland 6-2, 6-love, and Coco Gauff, number 18 seed, she beat Elise Mertens of Belgium by 6-4 and 6-love. Unfortunately, the two of them, that is Gauff and Stephens, now need to play against each other in the quarterfinals. Other side of the draw, it is Iga Swiatek, still the number 1 in the world, and Jessica Pegula, number 11 in the world, that's still in the tournament and will challenge for the title. On the men's draw, it is a very nice quarter-final that's coming up. It is 2 defending champions. It is Novak Djokovic, number 1 seed, playing against Rafael Nadal, number 5 seed. They will meet in the quarter-finals of the tournament. Also a big matchup in the quarter-finals will be Alexander Zverev, number 3 seed, sorry. He's playing against the young Carlos Alcaraz, number 6 seed. And the winners of those 2 matches will meet in the semi-final. On the other side of the draw, it is been fought out with the number 2 seed and 4 seed, probably the 2 that will be the most dangerous, Daniil Medvedev and also Stefanos Tsitsipas. And now on international sports news, some soccer news, and it is Nottingham Forest that will play in, they got promotion into the English Premier League for the 2022-2023 season. It's quite a lucrative promotion. It is estimated to be worth almost 214 million US dollars. It was Nottingham Forest that beat Huddersfield in a tight game by 1-0 to go through. So they promoted up to the English Premier League together with Fulham and also with Bournemouth. The three teams that go down, unfortunately, out of the English Premier League, it is Burnley, Watford and also Norwich City. So Nottingham Forest, they got promoted to the English Premier League. Then to close off today's international sports news, some golf news. It was the Belgium Open, the Ladies Open that was played, and the winner there was Lynn Grant. She is from Sweden, and in second place was Cara Ganger from England, and third place was Maya Stark, also from Sweden. Lynn Grant finished on a total of -19 after a last round of 67. Now, Lynn Grant also recently won the Joburg Open. That's all part of the European Ladies Tour. So that's the international sports news for today. We talk again tomorrow. Until then, have a good day. Goodbye.
We've now come to the end of our show, but before we sign off, let's take a look at the highlights from today's broadcast. No African university listed for new UK visa scheme. Around 100 killed in clashes between Chad artisanal gold miners last week, says government. 2 Hawks officers arrested for allegedly supplying ammunition to traditional healer. Trial begins for Sudanese protesters accused of killing police officer. Tanzanian secondary students designed solar-powered car. PwC quits as auditor of Lucky Star owner Oshena amid strained relationship.
Thank you very much for watching Africa Good Morning today. We do welcome your remarks regarding our show. You can email them to us. Our email, sorry, you can't email them to us, but you can post them on our Facebook and on our Twitter page, that is at Africa Good Morning. You can also visit our website. It's called OneUp2. On there you will find the content that you definitely love to see. Africa Good Morning screens on DSTV channel 285 as well as Gotv channel 94. And on that note, it's all our love, all our light, and we wish you a fantastic Tuesday. I hope you continue to choose yourself.